Hola, this is Kai Pacha with the weekly Pele report. This one I am doing from my own backyard because I have to just show you. This is I look here every day from my desk. I look out the window and I just saw these flowers blooming this morning. They're absolutely gorgeous. And I got too much work going on these days. Mercury conjunct Saturn, conjunct the North Node. I don't have time to be going anywhere to be doing these reports. So, I'll give you a tour of the backyard. It is October 30th of 2013. Right now the moon is in Virgo. And Thursday, tomorrow, it moves into Libra. Saturday goes into Scorpio. Sunday moves in to our solar eclipse, indeed, at 11 degrees of Scorpio. We got that solar eclipse happening. I'm going to talk a lot about that. There's a lot going on this week. And it's got exact Uranus-Pluto conjunction, square, 9 degrees Capricorn to 9 degrees of Aries. In fact, on Friday, we have the great gathering at 9 degrees. If you have anything at 9 degrees in your chart, this week is going to be, really powerful for you because we have Mars opposite Chiron, 9 degrees Virgo Mars to 9 degrees Pisces Chiron. And on Friday, Uranus and Pluto are at 9 degrees, the Sun is at 9 degrees, and even the Moon passes by 9 and 10 degrees on Friday. So Friday is our big 9-degree day. And then on Sunday for the eclipse is at 11 degrees with a Mercury conjunct the north node of the moon at 7 degrees. So snake eyes 7-11. Don't let me down tonight. That is the old Alan Parsons Project song I remember. Snake eyes 7-11. It's time to take a gamble here. So just let me set this camera up and get a little more into what all of that means. Hola. So, in thinking about and contemplating about what I'd like to share today for this Pele report, it is about the solar eclipse. And this solar eclipse at 11 degrees of Scorpio is conjunct the Mercury, conjunct the North Node at 9 degrees of Scorpio, and Saturn is very close by up there at 13 degrees. So we have a Mercury, North Node, Moon, Sun, Saturn conjunction in the sign of Scorpio. At the same time, down in Virgo is Mars opposing this Chiron Neptune up here in the sign of Pisces. And then we have this grand trine still going on, yes, in the water signs, with Lilith, Jupiter, Saturn, and Chiron. It's just, there's so much going on here. There's so much to talk about. There's so much to say. And I'll start with the eclipses because I have a different interpretation of eclipses than is popular or normal or whatever. And the way that I see eclipses is basically, particularly now, with a solar eclipse, it is the moon coming into alignment and blocking out the rays of the sun. And this is a very special one because actually on Saturday the moon occults Mercury. So we are actually having this lineup this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, of the sun in direct alignment with Mercury, in direct alignment with the moon, in direct alignment with the earth. You know, it's pretty amazing. In the old days, you think of these, the ancients, and I thought of this movie that I saw, the Mayan pyramids, and they're, sacrificing people, and then there's this eclipse, and everybody freaks out, and there is this whole idea in the past, eclipses have been seen as negative and plagues and challenges and scary times. And one interpretation is that, the moon comes in between, and when the rays of the sun are blocked by the moon from reaching the earth, it breaks the auric field of the earth and allows, extraterrestrial or, outside the solar system or bizarre, unfamiliar catalytic energies, from beyond, from outside our little system here into the auric sphere of the earth. And so it's a scary time, the unfamiliar, the unknown. And we could associate that with some very deeply laid memories in the collective unconscious, which right now is symbolized by this Neptune-Chiron conjunction in Pisces, which is the collective unconscious. And it's opposite this Mars right now, which is our conscious will force that wants to, needs to break through and heal some of these ancient wounds. Now, I don't know how, what your belief system is about extraterrestrial intervention in the evolutionary processes of the Earth people. There's Earth souls, kind of like innocent babes, Earth souls that were visited, and our DNA was, modified and slightly engineered. We were interfered with. There was interference in the natural evolutionary processes of the human being as a earthly creature, as an earthly soul. And so, yes, these things from outside our solar system, things from outside our sun, things from outside our known familiar habitat, it's like the fall. We're living in this innocent, open, naive, paradisical planet, and along comes, some external energy, some force, and whether you want to call it the Illuminati or the extraterrestrials or just power-grabbing, hungry, Hitler type or Atlantean types of, human beings that are seeking domination and control over the species, attempting to create some kind of planet of the apes, this planet, a slave planet. There has been intervention and an attempted domination of the innocent, naive earth beings that, that were here first. So the eclipses symbolize, in this very deep, unconscious past, these memories of us being messed with. Call it abductions or call it, whatever, surgeries and DNAs, changing in situations. Just think of this. One analogy I would say is just that it's like you're innocent and naive and you're going off to first grade. And your first day at school, you're being exposed to new teachers, to new classmates, to you're taken out of your home and the protective womb, in safekeeping of your mother and your family, and you're exposed to this new reality. So this has been going on, but guess what? It happened a long time ago. It's past, and we've been in school now for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, and we're not naive anymore, and we're not innocent anymore, and it's time to graduate. This Saturn node in Scorpio, Scorpio is the death of the old, the death of the child, the death of the individual, leading to the birth in Sagittarius of this transpersonal collective consciousness. We're entering this age of Aquarius. We're coming through this, we're finishing a 26,000 year cycle, yes, of the precession of the equinoxes. We're at this whole big turning of the ages, the changing of the paradigms, the dropping of the old patriarchy. This whole emerging, this whole graduation is that we're not innocent, naive anymore, and it's kind of like, we've been there, done that. We've been in victim consciousness. We've been dominated. We've been controlled. We've been programmed. We've got all this stuff going on in our unconscious memories, in our cellular memories. And we're now liberating. This is a time of an awakening of consciousness, a transference from an old reality into a new reality. So now we can say this eclipse is bringing in something new, something foreign, something unfamiliar. It's like, now look at it. If we've been in school and we're no longer naive and innocent, but we've been educated, well, now it's time where that education can spur our curiosity and our desire to reach out beyond the known, beyond the familiar, beyond what we've been taught or given, and go even farther out and do our own personal research. And we can welcome in, we can open the doors. Because now in some circles we could say that there's some of these extraterrestrials that are wanting to return and come back and correct some of the mistakes and some of the errors and some of the idiotic things that transpired in the past. So now we're actually receiving some benevolent assistance from the outside. So in the past there's been more, around fears of the unknown and unfamiliar, because they have not been benevolent, they've been malevolent. But now there's a change. So when we interpret these eclipses, and in the sign of Scorpio, which is forces beyond our control, we want to say that it's not a time to duck and cover. It's not a time to hide. It's actually a time to stand up and to confront and to welcome in, the new, the unfamiliar, and stand in our power and our truth. So this grand trine with this Lilith, Jupiter, and Cancer, this is the other thing that now I want to... There's so much going on, because here's the challenge. The South Node in the sign of Taurus. So much of the programming, so much of the system, so much of our socio-cultural, religious conditioning has been about survival of the fittest, and get your act together, and there's a limited supply, and it's there's only so much, and you have to work hard for it, and you have to da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. There's no free energy. And we have a situation where there's been so much conditioning. There's so much, there's this fear of survival. What if I run out of money and I've got to get the economy? We have this big, invisible, monster that's out to get us, called the economy. Everybody's afraid of the economy. And we're running these programs of fear around gain and loss and survival. This is the South Node in Taurus. And what I say is that it's having a very harmful effect on future generations. And whether you've got kids or not, there are kids growing up in this environment of fear, and they're seeing all of the adults. We think of the old rites of passage. There are no more rites of passage going on right now. Where people, went through these different changing points at age 9, age 12, age 14, age 18, age 21. These are different planetary cycles with Saturn and the moon's nodes and Jupiter that all, are this unfolding of this natural human evolutionary process. These rites aren't happening anymore. There's no adult models of the masculine or the feminine for the children anymore. And the children are just being raised up by television and videos and media and their iPhones. And what they're getting is what? Fear. They're seeing and observing psychically. It doesn't have to be spoken, but there's a bunch of adults running around scared shitless. I'm going to lose my house, I'm going to lose my car, I'm going to lose my job. It's like everybody's like freaking out, and all the next generation is like looking at the adults going, what's everybody so freaked out about? they're a group of very powerful souls coming in, man. They got, you know, Pluto in Scorpio, Pluto in Sag, Pluto in Capricorn. These younger souls are like, you know, they're our teachers in very many ways. But for now, as long as, you know, we're older than they are, yeah, the elders are to be the models. And this is why I'm talking about this solar eclipse conjunct Saturn. Is about becoming the elder. And it's about graduating out of this fear around survival into mastery. Scorpio is mastery. This North Node eclipse is pushing all of us into this place of needing to stand in our power, stand in our mastery, stand in our truth against the establishment, against the system, against the society, against the economy, you know, and not be dominated, not be controlled, not be intimidated, not be exploited anymore. This is the way that the old paradigm goes away and the new and gives birth to the new paradigm. So what we're talking about and what we're seeing with this eclipse this week, yeah, is that it's time for us to kind of get out of I, me, my survival, my money, my needs. It's Taurus. And think of the next generation, the next generation, the next generation, and these kids that are coming along. This is Jupiter and Lilith in Cancer. And this Jupiter, Lilith in Cancer says it's time to think about our own inner child, which does not want to conform, but which is highly intuitive and highly psychic and knows what it really needs to do and what really needs to happen, and we know our own truth, and we are against opposing this Pluto in Capricorn is the death Pluto of the old establishment, of the old structures, of the old institutions, of the old forms of physical financial security. So it's up to like each one of us to, at this point, you know, and this eclipse is bringing us opportunities. These opportunities may feel like predators or control freaks or, you know, big egos or powerful institutions trying to limit us, force us, dominate us, railroad us, scare us. And the graduation, the test now is, will we be? Will we succumb? Or will we rise up? Yeah, baby. Oh, God. So the mantra for this week, yeah, the mantra for this week is, I refuse to bow and ask for permission to speak my truth and stand my position. As I join with others who share the same vision of growing beyond limits imposed by the system. I'll put the system in quotes because it's kind of like a, it's like a thing. Yeah. Oh. This is what this time is about. This is what Scorpio is about. This is what coming into our power and our mastery. And it's the death of the innocent and the old and the scared and the fearful. It's a time for courage, a time for standing, and Mercury is there. Time for speaking and writing about our truth. And it's, and of course that truth is, you know, intuitively felt within, with the Jupiter in Cancer. Yeah? So, I refuse to bow and ask for permission to speak my truth and stand my position. As I join with others who share the same vision of growing beyond limits imposed by the system. I encourage everybody this week with this solar eclipse to give birth to the new. It's a new moon. And that new moon is a new way. And that new way can be a new life. I encourage you to let go of the old and give birth to a new life outside the limits and boundaries that are being perpetrated by external forces presently dominating planet Earth. Namaste. Aloha. So much love.